I'm sure as a healthcare professional or an individual who's concerned about your health, you've received information about new drugs or health products almost on a daily basis, whether it be via the mail, magazine, radio and TV, or solicited information. But there's something extremely unique about the product I'm going to tell you about. It's called Immunical from Immunotech Research. Immunical is not a drug or a treatment medication. Immunical is a patented dietary supplement. This is a powerful and unique milk serum protein isolate, which is a highly concentrated protein that in nature is similar to mother's milk. It shares many of the same immune-promoting properties of mother's milk and is validated through extensive research. It is your cell's own natural and most vital antioxidant and detoxifier, and it enhances both healthy and deficient immune systems. When you use Immunical, you're not introducing a foreign substance into the body. It's an undenatured bioactive whey protein supplement loaded with glutathione precursors, and it is essentially lactose-free as well as fat-free. It took approximately $10 million and 18 years of research and development to perfect. I think you'll appreciate hearing our interview with Dr. Lauren Stowe and Dr. William Elkins today, giving their candid views on Immunical and its health benefits. First, we'd like to welcome Dr. Stowe. Could you tell us a little bit about your background?
My background is as a PhD, chemical engineering and biomedical engineering. Graduated from the University of Illinois. Did all my undergraduate work at Iowa State. Graduate school to become the senior research engineer at Mobil Oil. That employed my chemical engineering background, but then I also worked with a health and nutrition company in Dallas, Texas, which put me into custom designing nutritional products with the idea of boosting the immune system. We wanted this product to not just be another supplement program, but actually have an express purpose of what it was intended to do. But the key point is that there's more to nutrition than just good health. That's certainly a worthy goal, but the way your body is designed and the way the immune system is designed, you can actually support and build up and restore your immune system through the proper application of modern food processing technology, which will give you all of the foundational needs. That's basically where I got my start then in this field, is when I was working as a consultant to this nutritional company. And we actually had some major benefit. We took this product design and decided to test it. Went to Grand Prairie and did a clinical trial with AIDS patients. This was back in 1989, and actually showed rather conclusively that through the support of the immune system that you could enhance a patient's quality of life, boost their immune system, and help them cope with a rather devastating disease. Most everybody is aware that AIDS patients have totally compromised immune systems, and we thought if we could prove that you could boost the immune system of an AIDS patient, then you could define the value of proper nutrition and proper supplementation, which at that point we felt we had accomplished, and I have been in this field then of alternative and complementary medicine. People would refer to it ever since, and that's where my research work has taken me.
From a doctor's perspective, why use Immunical?
Well, quite frankly, it's the best whey protein product on the market. That is a simple, understandable reason. To get into the fundamental aspects of it, you have to understand how whey proteins work in the system and why Immunical then is such an important part of that process. Essentially, with whey proteins, you get several things. You get all of the essential amino acids, which many people are familiar with, but these are the building blocks of all your proteins. And the reason they're called essential amino acids is you can only acquire them through diet. In other words, your body cannot make an essential amino acid. Now, it can make hundreds and hundreds of different types of proteins and enzymes, starting with amino acids as the building block. But the amino acids themselves have to come from some type of protein in your diet. And whey protein is a very effective way to provide those essential amino acids. Now, why Immunical? Because there are many whey proteins on the market. The way it is processed, this particular whey protein, Immunical, preserves all of the precursors to a very important product in your body called glutathione. Now, many people think you can go to the health food store and buy glutathione supplements and take those. You probably are familiar with those supplements, but that's not really the way the body works. That a glutathione supplement is only marginally absorbed, if at all, into the form that you actually need it in the body. And the importance of Immunocal is to understand that relationship between the precursors to glutathione and the fact that you get those in a very useful form from Immunocal. And it's probably the only product on the market that I've seen that actually can do that. It's certainly the only product that I have seen that has gone to the effort to do this in a clinical trial form, where they've actually gone to major universities, major teaching hospitals, provided their product, and have it scientifically evaluated. And that's a key ingredient in this age of confusion, when there's so many people out there who will use a certain concept and build a marketing program around that concept without really ever proving that their product fulfills the marketing presentation. And there's a distinct difference. I recommend Immunocal because they meet the scientific criteria of being acceptable to the medical community. You can take their research and take this to any doctor, whether he be an allopathic doctor or a complementary doctor, and the presentation is the same. It's acceptable to all practitioners.
Now, I consider myself a healthy person. Should I take Immunocal?
Oh, absolutely. You may think you're healthy. You may look healthy. But if you're not doing certain things, you have long-term needs. I'm not even going to call them worries, but you have long-term needs that just for your own peace of mind, you should be taken care of. For example, let's talk a little bit about the importance of glutathione and why a healthy person wants to make sure that their levels of glutathione stay high. For example, one of the things in our AIDS studies that we have looked at, and this was confirmed by Stanford University, you can define death in an AIDS patient by their level of glutathiones, their intracellular levels of glutathiones. If they reach a certain point in the process, a certain low point, that patient eventually will die, because that level of glutathione is guaranteed that free radical production inside that cell will dominate and destroy the cells. And so the healthy cells will continue to break down and your health disappears. That's a dramatic example. But you know, that happens inside you and I. Aging is a free radical process where your cells are exposed to free radicals. Now, the general public is getting some basic knowledge of free radicals, but free radicals are basically very active compounds that are electrically imbalanced. They have a need for electrons, and they will pull that from your cell membrane walls. And every time they do that, they incrementally destroy a certain portion of your cell membrane wall. It happens every day. Just the process of breathing brings oxygen into your body, and oxygen is used to basically burn the food that you eat, and this is to produce energy. In the process of doing that, you create literally thousands of free radicals that have to be neutralized. The process of neutralizing free radicals requires the presence of antioxidants. And so the public is becoming aware of free radicals, they're becoming aware of antioxidants. Some of the common antioxidants that the public knows about at this point in time are vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene, certain minerals like selenium. These are all the commonly known antioxidants, and people are taking them because they've been told it's important, and it is. It's critically important. The untold story at this point in time is that left on its own, vitamin C, a molecule of vitamin C will neutralize exactly one free radical. And so people get into this concept of taking mega doses of vitamin C to try to neutralize lots of free radicals. That's good in concept, but it's not exactly the way your body was designed to operate. What really happens inside the cell is vitamin C will neutralize a free radical. Then it becomes exposed to glutathione if you have the proper levels of glutathione. Glutathione will actually regenerate vitamin C's ability to neutralize yet another free radical.
Now, if I understand this correctly, in layman's terms, if a person is starting a nutritional supplementation program, they should start with Immunocal, get their immune system responding properly, then the other supplementation products they're taking will work better. Is this correct?
That's correct. The point is, glutathione, which comes from the Immunocal, is one of the foundational elements that you need for good health. That's where you start. You start with what I refer to as the macronutrients. Immunocal is a macronutrient. It provides the essential amino acids, which are critical to all protein structures, which are critical to all cell membrane walls, which are critical to the basis of glutathione, and they're critical to all your enzymes that are all based on sequences of amino acids. It's such a foundational product. If you did nothing else, you would start with Immunocal. We have a firm called Innovative Care Medical, which I'm the Chief Executive Officer of. We do research and development, medical technology research and development of all types, one of which is the use and the application of these concepts of nutritional supplementation. Immunocal didn't find us. That's critical for people to understand. We found Immunocal because of our search for what it takes. And in '89, when I did my first AIDS study, whey protein was part of that. Well, a long time has passed since 1989. There are now research and development that has been done on the whey protein. And in following that progress, that led Innovative Care Medical to Immunocal. That led us to then research everything about the company that actually produces Immunocal.
From a business standpoint, how much money in 1997, as an example, was spent in the U.S. on people seeking alternative medicine?
The U.S. public paid out of pocket, because alternative medicine is seldom if ever covered by insurance, $13 billion out of their own pocket. In fact, out-of-pocket expenses, that's more than they spent on conventional medicine. There is a shift that's occurring within the public in their mindset. My desire personally is to be part of that shift, to be part of the educational process that gives people the confidence to move from their prior beliefs to what's actually required. We sit around all the time griping about the cost of health care and medical care, and we want the government to do something about it. We don't need the government to do something about the high cost of medical care in the United States. We simply need, as a people, to take what we know from a scientific standpoint and apply it to our lives. Immunocal is one of those products.
You mentioned the people who worked on the Immunocal research project over the past 20 years. Can you comment further on Dr. Buenos and his background?
Well, you can go to the literature and do a word search on Dr. Buenos, and you'll find that he has been the pioneer in this area of studying the biological effects of all types of proteins. And it was his research that led him also to the extreme biological activity of whey proteins. He's got a track record of scientifically moving forward in the development of this product.
Could you comment on your conversations with other doctors about Immunocal?
I've been involved in a number of discussions with doctors. Medical schools are not yet teaching the concept of oxidative stress as a major impact on health, and that is the destruction of cells by free radicals. That's not being taught yet as a medical modality. So when I talk doctor to doctor, we actually go through some of the fundamentals of what oxidative stress is, how free radicals are generated in the body, and how destructive they are. For example, your cell membrane walls are lined with cholesterol. When you burn food, that process generates a free radical. That free radical goes around and it looks for a site to take an electron from so it becomes electrically neutral. Quite often it'll attack the cell membrane wall itself and it will pull an electron from that. The purpose of cholesterol being there, cholesterol gets a bad rap. It's probably the greatest antioxidant in the body. It sacrifices an electron, and it can do that multiple times. It's there to preserve the functional lipoproteins. It's a sacrificial lamb to the process of neutralizing free radicals. When you have a disease state that's dependent on free radicals, you will see cholesterol levels rise in that patient because the body's generating more cholesterol to send it out to be the sacrificial lamb so that you can limit the amount of damage that's being done. Of course, that's a sign that you may be subject, they'll measure your cholesterol levels and say, well, you're at risk for a heart attack. Well, that's because heart disease is a free radical disease process. The cholesterol is naturally coming up to try to limit the damage that's being done. If you go in there and intentionally lower the cholesterol level, you're likely to exacerbate the situation because the free radicals will now go unperturbed. And so these are some fundamental concepts that we have to start getting through to the medical community, that this concept of free radical damage is something that has to be therapeutically controlled. And so when I talk to professionals, if any doctors end up hearing this tape, that's a very real process. Just because cholesterol is a marker for potential heart disease doesn't mean it's the cause of the heart disease. And that's a fundamental concept that we have to get through. Same way with cancer. Cancer is a free radical disease. Often you'll see elevated cholesterol in cancer patients. It can be a tragic mistake to put them on cholesterol lowering drugs because what it does is then allow the free radicals to go on unabated, and that's dangerous. And so this is a new part of the philosophy, the new concept of what is involved in the healing process. It's the public that will force this change. And the more the public can understand, the more the distributors can understand the importance of what they're doing and why this product is part of this change that's going on. The product is worthy of the support, and that's why we're doing this.
Thank you, Dr. Stowe, for taking time to be with us today. Now we'd like to turn to Dr. William Elkins. Dr. Elkins, welcome to our microphones. Could you tell me a little bit about your personal credentials?
I am a practicing dentist. In fact, I have a specialty in dentistry called maxillofacial prosthetics. Trained at, got my dental degree from the University of Detroit in 1973. And then I did a residency in maxillofacial prosthetics and oncology at MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas in the early 80s. This last couple of years I've been working on a doctor of naturopathy degree, and I'm a board-certified naturopathic physician. And presently, I'm in a medical doctorate program at Capital University of Integrative Medicine in Washington, D.C., leading to a Doctor of Medicine in Integrative Medicine. And that has to do with bringing together allopathic or conventional medicine and alternative medicines. And so obviously by my background, you can tell that I'm been interested in natural healing and natural medicines and alternative medicine. And so that's what I'm about. I'm 56 years old. I've been in practice for 25 years and looking forward to the future of what medicine has to hold.
How did you personally get involved with natural medicines?
It began in 1976. Became interested in natural medicine in 76 and been practicing mercury-free, metal-free, with the toxic metals since that time. So I'll go back quite a ways. Because of my interest in natural medicine and alternative medicine for a number of years, I've been looking for methods and ways to further my education, and that's the reason I got the doctorate in naturopathy degree. And I found out about a program in Washington, D.C. Called Capital University of Integrative Medicine, and it's open to doctors of all different backgrounds where they can come in and get a specialty degree training. Also, alongside with that, I've realized that the immune system is really what it's all about. When we talk about people becoming sick or being ill from whatever disease process, it all has to do with the immune system. And I think the whole AIDS thing has brought that to the front. So I realized that if we could enhance the immune system, that all of the diseases that we know, whatever they might be, could be treatable and treated. And so I began my own little personal search in trying to find ways to boost and enhance the immune system. And, of course, I did all the study in the antioxidants, the vitamins, and the minerals, and all of those things that will enhance the immune system. And last year, I enrolled as a student at age 56. Again, as a student at Capital University. And one of the courses that we take there is immunology. And we do a lot of live blood microscopy, where we actually take some blood and we look under it under a microscope, and we actually can look at the immune system firsthand. We can watch the macrophages and the neutrophils and the T cells and all that actually at work or not at work, depending on the effects of the immune system, or the effects of the immune system. A couple of weeks ago, I was back in Washington, D.C. We go there 4 days a month for 2 years. And I was back in Washington, D.C. There was a lecture given on immunology by one of the professors, Dr. Paul Cheney, who's a M.D., Ph.D., and a brilliant guy. I had gotten the information on Immunocal, and I had looked over all of the research that the Dr. Buenos, I looked over his research, and it's well documented, and it's very finely done, as you all know. And so I had been going through the synthesis of glutathione and finding out where all that came from and the precursors for the synthesis of glutathione. Well, as fate would have it, when I was in D.C., Dr. Cheney, during his lecture in immunology, jumped right on that subject and started talking about the synthesis of glutathione and, of course, where it was synthesized, intracellular, and it can't be made outside of the cell. You can't take a glutathione tablet or a glutathione injection and have it enhance your immune system, because it has to be done intracellular. And glutathione is the strongest antioxidant, intracellular antioxidant that we know to present time. But it has to be made intracellular. So that means that you have to have chemicals there to make it intercellular. It's much like a warehouse that fabricates Witsits or whatever, and you bring in the materials to do that, but inside of the building is where the actual product is made. And that's the case of glutathione. So Dr. Cheney started lecturing in talking about the cycle, the P450 cycle, and how that the glutathione is made from cysteine, and cysteine crosses the intestinal wall, and how it combines with other chemicals for the manufacturing of glutathione. And I thought, my gosh, I've heard this before. I mean, I've read this stuff and I've been studying this. It's interesting that he's presenting it. He did a very fine job, and you could tell he was just overly excited about what he had to present there. And I asked a lot of real pointed questions. I think he was surprised that I was kind of up on that. But after the lecture, I went up to him outside and I said, have you heard of a product called Immunocal? And he said, wow. He turned to me and said, yeah. He said, that's what I'm doing my research on, and that's what I'm involved with. And I said, what do you think? And he said, it's fantastic. But he said, instead of 10 grams a day, you need to take 20. And then he turned and started talking to some other people. I got real excited at that point and called my wife and said, I think we need to jump on this real hard, because if you get a guy with the credentials of Dr. Paul Cheney that's into it and says it's really working, and all the research that's been done in Canada shows that it's working, that's when we decided to make a commitment. This is something that it's certainly an idea whose time has come, and I think it's a product we really need to look at for our own health's sake.
As a member of the medical profession, how would you rate the research that's been done on Immunocal?
Well, that's the reason that I'm involved, is because when I got the information, it wasn't hype, it was hard research. And anytime you're going to approach someone in the academic community, you want to have your research well done and documented. And that's really what interested me in this product. I've been looking at different products, and I guess associated with that, different companies, looking for immune system enhancers. And that's what I've been searching for the last year. And so that's why I said this is a product that I can go with, because it's got the hard double-blind study research behind it, something that the medical community can understand.
Thank you, Dr. Elkins. Well, you've heard firsthand from Dr. Stowe and Dr. Elkins how incredible this product Immunocal is, and how scientific research substantiates everything these gentlemen have shared with you. Now, if you'd like additional information on Immunocal, or would like to know how to purchase this product, please contact the person who gave you this tape. And thank you for listening.